How Toys R Us collapsed. The international decline and aftermath. Toys R Us was once the largest toy store company in the world. For decades, it sold toys, games, and baby products to families in many countries. The company was known for huge stores, bright aisles, and a wide selection of toys. By the late 2010s, Toys R Us collapsed in the United States. After that, the company's international business also changed dramatically. Some locations survived for a time, while others closed or were sold. This is the story of what happened to Toys R Us around the world after its main business failed. How Toys R Us worked internationally. Toys R Us did not operate the same way in every country. In the United States, the company owned and ran its own stores. In many other countries, Toys R Us used partners. These partners paid to use the Toys R Us name and followed company rules, but they ran the stores themselves. This meant the international business depended heavily on the health of the main U.S. company. Even though some international stores were profitable, they relied on shared systems, supply chains, and brand support from the parent company. The debt problem spread everywhere. The biggest problem for Toys R Us was debt. In 2005, the company was bought by investment firms in a leveraged buyout. This meant the buyers borrowed a large amount of money to purchase the company. Toys R Us became responsible for paying back that debt. The debt was massive. The company had to spend hundreds of millions of dollars each year just to pay interest. This left very little money for improving stores, upgrading technology, or lowering prices. Even though the debt was based in the U.S., it affected international operations. The parent company controlled branding, contracts, and global planning. As the U.S. business struggled, support for international stores weakened. Retail was changing worldwide. At the same time, shopping habits were changing everywhere. More people started buying toys online. Companies like Amazon made it easy to shop from home and compare prices. Big discount stores also sold toys at lower prices. Toys R Us stores were large and expensive to run. Many were located in older shopping areas with high rent. Online competitors did not have these costs. International stores faced the same pressure. Even in countries where online shopping grew more slowly, customers still wanted lower prices and faster service. Toys R Us was slow to adapt. Its websites were often basic, and delivery options were limited. This made it hard to compete in a changing retail world. The U.S. bankruptcy changed everything. In 2017, Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy in the United States. This filing did not immediately close international stores. Many international businesses were legally separate. However, the bankruptcy caused serious problems. Suppliers became nervous. Toy makers worried they would not get paid. Some stopped shipping products or demanded cash up front. This affected stores around the world, even if they were not bankrupt themselves. Customers also lost confidence. News of the U.S. collapse spread quickly. Many shoppers assumed all Toys R Us stores were failing, even outside the United States. Different outcomes in different countries. After the U.S. collapse, Toys R Us had different outcomes around the world. In some countries, stores closed completely. Partners decided the brand was no longer strong enough to continue. Without global support, they could not survive rising costs and falling sales. In other countries, businesses were sold to new owners. These owners sometimes kept the Toys R Us name, but ran smaller operations. Some focused more on online sales or opened fewer stores. Canada is an example where Toys R Us survived longer. The Canadian business was profitable and was sold to new owners. However, it still faced strong competition and had to change how it operated. In parts of Asia and Europe, Toys R Us stores continued under local ownership, but many were downsized or rebranded over time. Supply chain problems. Toys R Us relied on a global supply chain. Many toys were made in Asia and shipped worldwide. The company negotiated large contracts with toy manufacturers and shipping companies. When the U.S. business collapsed, those contracts were disrupted. Some international partners lost access to favorable pricing. Others faced delays or shortages. Without strong buying power, international stores paid more for inventory. This made it harder to offer competitive prices, especially against online retailers. Brand damage. The Toys R Us name was once a major strength. After the collapse, the brand became weaker. Parents worried about returns, gift cards, and store closures. Toy companies were less willing to create exclusive products for the brand. Even in countries where stores remained open, the brand no longer felt stable. This made it harder to attract customers and employees. A retail brand depends on trust. Once that trust was damaged globally, recovery became difficult. Attempts to relaunch. After many stores closed, there were attempts to bring Toys R Us back in smaller forms. Some new owners opened smaller stores inside malls. Others focused on online-only versions of the brand. These efforts were limited and did not match the scale of the original company. International markets watched these relaunches carefully. Without a strong global leader, most countries moved on to other toy retailers. What went wrong overall? The international decline of Toys R Us was not caused by one single event. The main problems were heavy debt that drained money from the business, slow response to online shopping and changing retail habits, high store costs that made price competition difficult, loss of supplier and customer trust after the U.S. bankruptcy, weak global support after the parent company collapsed. Even profitable international stores could not fully escape these problems. The final result. Today, Toys R Us exists in limited forms in some countries, often under new ownership. It is no longer the global toy giant it once was. The international decline shows how closely connected global businesses can be. When the main company failed, the effects spread around the world. Toys R Us did not collapse all at once everywhere. Instead, it slowly faded as debt, retail changes, and broken systems caught up with the brand. That is how the international Toys R Us business declined after the fall of its core company.